All right. Without any further ado, we're just gonna keep it moving along with our next guest. Who hey, listen, I was blessed, man. I got to see this brother in Brooklyn like maybe about a month ago now, by the Brooklyn by Fort Hamilton base. We was at a show for the military, and you know, the brother was just came out, families, everybody was there. And before he even dropped the lyric, I was already tired from jumping up and down. I was like, oh shit, this show is incredible. Like before the brother even said a word, like he was talking, but before he did any of his song, by that time we was already like, yo, crazy. Kids jumping up and down, young people, old people. And then he was just dropping knowledge through the whole show. But without any further ado, man, the legend, man, CHUBB ROCK is in the building, man. What's going on, Chubster?
What's going on with you guys, man? Wow. And the ladies and the queens out there, the DJs. How y'all doing?
Man, I feel like everybody's blessed. Good. Yeah, let's say, please tell Chubb how y'all doing.
Great.
Yeah,
good.
Man.
You know I'm here for it.
It's good, man. It's good. It's a blessing, especially these days.
Absolutely, man. Well, let's get into that. What do you mean? I know a lot of crazy stuff, but you know, if you want to embellish, you know.
Man, you know what it is. It's been a interesting couple of years, man. You know, 2001 was an especially good years. A good year for the yes, sir. Wasn't good years for. Thanks, sir. Thank you, sir. For the practitioners of hip hop, man. You know, we lost a lot of cats in 2021. You know, eight legends in 2021. So it's just been a rough time, man. So any day on this side of the grass is a good time.
No, absolutely, man. Totally relate, man. We was talking earlier. I mean, we get in some deep conversations, man. I mean, it's going so deep. We were talking about the fact that the longest river in France has completely dried up as of last week. And as of today, the Colorado River is now so dry you can see it from space. And you have now, you know, not one, but two new diseases seem to be coming out of China, which they haven't fully identified yet. We're still dealing with monkeypox. Apparently there's polio in the waters of New York. And COVID is just morphing every couple of months.
Right.
And we're still in 2022. So, you know, we need some balance out here. So, but forget all of that. I know we care for positive things and whatnot. What's up with you, brother, man? What's going on, man? What you been up to? And I even want to go back a little bit because I know while I know who you are, and many people on here don't know who you are, they're like younger people who are like, okay, yeah, I'm my uncle, my dad, or whoever may know, but just a little background, Chubb. You know, where you from, and then let's just talk about a little about how you get started, and then we'll get into the new stuff.
Sure. It's Brooklyn, man. Brooklyn, New York. You know, via Jamaica and Flatbush. So came up under my cousin Hitman Howie T, who was the neighborhood DJ in Flatbush, and he started working on music, and he did his own group CD3. They had a record called Get Tough back in the day, and then from there he hooked up with Kango Kid, rest in peace, from UTFO, and him and Kango produced Roxanne, and then they went on to produce Whistle with Don't Take It Seriously, They're Only Bugging. And then he did some stuff for Full Force and Crash Crew and, you know, records like that. And then I'm his younger cousin, you know, our mothers are sisters. And then he was like, cuz, it's your turn. And I came up under that tutelage of him and Dr. Ice from UTFO. And then we came out with our records. And of course, the street record that kind of took us over was a record that took off in New York called Caught Up, the remix. And then We Did Your Bad Chubs, and then Treat 'Em Right came and took us to a different level on the crossover side of it. And the album had, in fact, it was the first rap album at that time to have 4 #1 records on the one album. And then Cool J's album came after that and was #2 to do that. And then, of course, he had 5 on that album with Marley Marl. And then, I mean, we've been doing it ever since, man. And nothing ain't changed, except it got even more intense now. We do a lot of shows off of those classic records. And I transitioned into radio in 2000 when started at Power 105 in New York, and then went to WBLS in New York, then moved to Atlanta, 2012, got on the radio here, 2012. We had the #1 show here. And in 2020, we syndicated the show. And here we are now, 32 stations later, we're here, and you know, hip hop has been good to us.
No doubt about it, man. It's crazy because first of all, the history. I used to love Get Tough. I ain't gonna front. I didn't know that Hitman Howie T was connected to that, which is amazing. But then to see how your career has like morphed, because you know you're very well a superstar in, you know, my eyes in terms of like hip hop. And then to take that energy and be successful at radio and the other things is pretty remarkable. And then, you know, most people do not end up getting a syndicated show who enter into radio. It's just, you know, it's not easy to do. So congratulations there. Yes, and many salutes that are coming up in the chat.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's been an interesting journey, man. Pretty interesting journey, and we've had a lot of fun doing it, obviously. And you know, and I like making music, and we've always did a little joint here and there. While in the second phase of hip hop for us, you know, songs with Eric Robeson, songs with Jeff Bradshaw, Al B. Shore, you know, various records, La Day. It's a long list, man. I mean, I can't remember all of them, but a lot of records like that, independent records we put out. And then now we got this new joint that we did with, you know, Good People. That's in the movie that I think the movie just dropped a couple of days ago.
Yeah, the movie is called
17 Days.
17 Days, yes. And this is coming off the soundtrack. You know, you, DV alias Christ, the Good People, Brooklyn Affair. I know Chubb, I know DV alias Christ, but the Good People, wasn't really familiar with them, which is cool. You putting somebody else on.
Yeah, those are the producers.
Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah, those are the producers of the record. My boy Saint and them guys from out of Long Island, man. They're incredible. They did a record before that with Charlie Brown and them, and you know, great producers, lovers of hip hop, and then they came to me about doing a joint. So it was nice vibe with them.
No, absolutely, man. And I actually I want to get into the track right now and come back and talk some more, because there's a lot of questions. I'm sure a lot of people got a lot of things they want to ask. But let's get into this record right now, Brooklyn Affair, and then we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk more to brother CHUBB ROCK, and you know, talk about the history and inspirations and all that good stuff. So let's do it.
Rock, yeah, going to Brooklyn, baby.
Flavor, you already know, flavor hip hop. Got a lot of things. Let's say, so yeah, okay, we played them. I hear them sleigh bells. Salute. A lot of love. Shout out to the chat. That's always going off. Here with CHUBB ROCK. You just heard new single coming off of the soundtrack called 17 Days. CHUBB ROCK, DVL is Christ and Good People Brooklyn Affair. Up on Digiwaxx live right now, live and direct. Feel free, download, support it. You already know. Yeah, man, we got CHUBB in the building. I'm gonna open it up because I know a lot of people got questions. So feel free. Any thoughts of positivity, any good questions, anything y'all want to say, open it up. The floor is now open.
I go. Can I go?
Go ahead.
Man, first of all, it's funny because I was just thinking about this brother the other day with Treat 'Em Right. And all the positive 20 years, that song, I'm Still Positivity, talking about the fans, all of that stuff about how artists should be. This brother been dropping that timeless. And about, I would say 5 months ago, I was going through these records and I heard the sample for the first time. I know I'm late, but I heard that Treat 'Em Like bass line from James Brown. I didn't know it was a sample. This whole time I never knew it. But the point I'm making is, man, the music sounds good. I hope New York takes hip hop back. The production is on point. This brother is like a leader in the game, and he's showing it with that song. It has a good feel to it. Please take this thing back. It can't get no worse. We bought him out. Take it back where it needs to go, like you did back in the day with Treat 'Em Right. Those positive messages has transcended through time. We need it right now.
I appreciate you, bro. It's interesting, man, because there's a bunch of the old school cats that are making music, man. They're making a lot of music. They're just not releasing that music because they feel that they're not going to get any kind of love or help on those records. I happen to personally know Slick Rick got a whole album ready. I mean, he was telling me about this album during COVID, you know, because he has a beautiful studio in his crib, and he has a whole album ready, man. Grand Poobah hasn't stopped making music. Sadat X, all of them, man. There's so many of them. They're sitting on a lot of music. And I think they just don't put out this music because they just don't have any inclination that they're going to get a shot. You know, hip hop now, to get on radio, to get any kind of movement, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of resources. And you know, so there's a lot of cats with a lot of music, man. You'll be very, very surprised. A lot of music. Me, I've always been a believer of the beginning of it. My music, from the beginning, always went to DJs, and I more relied on DJs. You know, not the politics of the business or anything dealing with record labels. It was always based on DJs, man. So long as I got the music to DJs, I already knew that DJs are going to play good music. And if it isn't up to par to them, then you got to accept that, and you go back to the drawing board. And that's been from the beginning, from when I first gave a first record to Red Alert back in the day. And he said that to me. He said, "Hey, youngin, if I like it, I'm going to play it. If I don't, I'm not." And I've always believed in that same formula, man. So, but trust me, man, there's a lot of cats with a lot of music out here.
Yeah, facts. We were having a conversation earlier. We were talking about vibes in terms of, like, you know, a lot of groove records and stuff had players or musicians that had been so seasoned. You know, we talk about Michael Jackson, Thriller, and how Quincy put all these guys in the room, and these records became these really dope groove cuts. Hold on, somebody got an echo? Anyway, versus you know, how a lot of music today is made. Do you think that instrumentation makes music better?
Well, I wouldn't use the word better, man. I use, you know, it's like, this is how life is to me when it comes to music, man. It's like food, right? One day you feel for pizza, but you ain't gonna eat pizza every day. The next day you're gonna want a burger. Next day you're gonna want your mama's cooking from whatever country your mother is from, your father is from. For us, it would be Caribbean food. Another day you might want just a simple sandwich. And that's how it is with music. Sometimes you're in the mood for Prince. Sometimes you're in the mood just to listen to a Bob James instrumental. Sometimes you want to hear Talib Kweli. Sometimes you want to hear KRS-One. Sometimes you want to hear, you know, a DJ Premier beat with Guru spitting or OC spitting. I mean, every day you ain't gonna have the same vibe for everything. Sometimes instrumentation is great, you know, great on a record. It's beautiful. But sometimes you just want to hear a boom bap joint and Nas spitting some incredibleness over a bunch of break beats or something. I mean, it just comes down to the mood you're in when you're about to play it.
Mm.
You know, that's the way I look at it, man. I can't just have a wide brush and say, well, these kinds of records is the only thing I really like, you know. And that would never be the case with me. It's all about the mood I'm in. You know, sometime, you know, the other day I was literally yelling at Pete Rock the other day, like, yo, where are these records, man? Where's your records? You know, I'm yelling at him because you get in the mood, you get in this mood where you want to hear a Pete Rock record, you know, and how he does his records. You feel what I'm saying? You know, but then you could go to a time where you're going to hear, you know, a serious instrumentation record from like a O'Henny Savant. And all of that is beautiful, man. It all comes down to how you feel, man. That's all it is. I don't look at it as one simple answer to that equation.
Cool stuff. Anybody else got questions or something to say? Okay. All right. Go ahead, Chuck.
How many DJs you think is on this thing right now? Because I love to ask the DJs questions.
Go ahead. It's about 28.
Now, you guys are DJs. I mean, you ladies are DJs. You guys are the backbone of this genre. Because I think people believe that when you come to what you're going to hear on the radio, anywhere else, and program directors and all that is great, because I think most program directors, especially if they're program directors that I know, they are DJs. They came from that skill set of being DJs. If you have an independent record that you really, really like, would you take what I call, I mean, I guess what the business calls these days is risks, playing an independent record that may not have all the bells and whistles on a promotional marketing level, and still try to put out and help push what you believe is an incredible record? You know, I just always wanted to find out from DJs how they feel about stuff like that these days in 2022.
I want to hear everybody's opinion. I'm waiting.
One more time. What was the last part, Chubb Rock?
Meaning, you know, if it's an independent record and it's a great record to you, not to the person who made it, but to you as a DJ, would you take it upon yourself to help push that record if you're playing on the airwaves or on the club or anything like that, though it doesn't come with all the bells and whistles and marketing budgets behind it? It's just a great record. You know, it just has the elements that you love, you know, without any of the
most certainly.
Yeah.
Bottom line,
Absolutely.
if I like it, I'm playing it. Period.
I'm doing it now. I've done it before, and I'll continue to do it because as a DJ, we
have the, I hate to say power, but we have the ability to feed people what they should be listening to. When you put DJ on your title, people trust you when they come to you about music. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna do it, and I'm gonna continue to do it. You know, if I like it, I'm gonna push it, because the thing is, I play a lot of songs that I don't like, but the masses likes it. So why can't I play something that I like? You know, versus working with the machine.
Well, I'm going to add to it, man. I think the question is not just will you play it, but how will you go out of your way to break it? Because it's easy to play a song. It's a different thing when you put the energy in to actually make it connect to the audience and to the people, or to go beyond that to make just your friends and the people around you, other DJs, fall in love with something too, or putting them on. So my question is, yeah, okay, you're gonna play it, but how are you gonna actually make it connect? What are you gonna do differently to actually make it go viral? Because that's the DJ's position to me. And boom, here go the question right here. Do DJs break records now, or do the internet? I still think the streets play a major part in it. It's the question is, how are you going to use your influence and your position to do it without being corny, without trying to, you know, because people could feel all of that. But how will you genuinely help a song grow?
Yeah, it's a serious debate, man, because, you know, I just seen somebody put up there, the streets is the internet now, you know, and that could be true to a certain degree, but, you know, when you get to a certain age, you're not on the internet like that, you know, when you get to a certain age, you know, so, but yet you still know what you like, because, you know, it's interesting, and coming from where we are right now, like for this summer, we have this thing called 54 and on tour, right? I'm 54 now. And from Memorial Day to Labor Day, we got 54 shows. From Memorial Day weekend to Labor Day weekend, 54 shows that we've been doing for the summer. And all of these shows have been sold out. But there's clearly a disconnect, because you have an audience that will come to the shows, and they're paying $50, $60, $70 to come to these shows, right? But yet there's a disconnect on saying, okay, we'll buy that record for $1, right? Because you're spending 50, 60 to see me, to see Dougie, you know what I'm saying, to see Kane. But when you come out with a record, say, well, the record is $1. There's a disconnect. Now, I get the years of, man, from Napster on, this whole theory of music is free these days, which is something only hits Black music, urban music, unfortunately. But there's a disconnect with the audience that grew up with us, that, or even maybe even younger than us, that understand that you buy music. Let me tell you, I give you a funny story. So, you know, you're syndicated, but my syndication is different. I own my syndication. So everything that we deal with, that I deal with, I pay for. So even just the music that we have, I buy that music, okay? I don't try to download it on YouTube. I buy that music. And I use a service and buy the music. So one day I was trying to get some records and the service was down. So I ran to Walmart and bought 3 $100 iTunes cards, because I knew the amount of records I needed to buy. Young girl looked at me and was like, why are you spending all of this on iTunes cards? I said, I got to buy some music today and I got to do this real quick. What? Give me $30 and I get all the songs you want. And I'm like, baby girl, I got to buy the music. No, you don't have to buy that music. I can get you anything you want. Just give me a list. I said, baby girl, you have to buy music. artists are working hard to make that music. You got to buy music. It ain't her fault. She's young. She's part of a culture that they don't believe that they need to buy music. You feel what I'm saying to you? That they don't need to buy music. So if Method Man come out with a new record, you feel, oh, there's a way for me to get that record for no money, you know? But if he has no way of being able to make money off that music so he can at least even just break even of what he has to spend to promote his record, you know, if he's going on an independent level, then that means he won't make music. You know, and then that's the crime. Oh, wow, we're not going to hear a new Method Man and Redman album. We're not going to hear, you know, a new Mos Def album. We're not going to hear a new, that theory. So we're in an area where we need to try to redeem that culture, you know, because it got taken and manipulated in a way, man. I was one of them guys. I was not a fan of Steve Jobs, all right? I wasn't a fan of a guy who wasn't a music guy dictating to us as music people what our songs are going to cost, right? I remember the meeting about it in New York City when he came with the first iPod and then iTunes, and he was like, "Oh yeah, the song is going to be $1." You're like, wait a second, who are you? How are you telling us what we're going to sell our music for? You know what I'm saying? So, and it started from there. It went down from there. So that's why DJs are so important, man, because they're our last hope to get records out there and to get people to hear records. You know, without DJs, then the whole thing is done. You know, when people say, "Chubb, you're from Brooklyn, you got to make sure bring it back, New York hip hop, New York hip hop." I'm like, brother, I'll do whatever part I can. I was speaking to Primo the other day, DJ Premier, and you know, he's always like, "Yo, come to the lab and let's do blah blah blah." And that's the easy and the fun part. But it got to be a connection and a partnership with DJs, or it's a hard battle to win. You know what I'm saying? So I apologize to be long-winded on that, but I'm passionate about that kind of stuff because I love hip hop. You know, and it's hardcore now.
I want to tap in with that because I I understand that's the struggle on some real stuff. People have taken art for granted. But the beauty of today, 2022, and moving forward is that I preach a lot about what the power of Web3 and blockchain technology can do for the artists and the independent, because it is the only technology right now that would allow you to take your music and turn it into an NFT, or take your music and create social tokens against it, and you can dictate what you want to sell it for. And the more collaborative you do, AKA is CHUBB ROCK times DJ Premier times this illustrator or this artist who created a dope cover for it, and you put it together as one minted NFT, and you make 1,000 copies, but you decide to sell each copy, which is really a collector's item at this point. Each piece of it, you could say, is going to be 0.5 ETH or 0.25 ETH. You know, now you're selling it between $500 a copy to $1,000 a copy, and it's authentically minted by you. So that means every fan or every person that buys it, it's no middleman. There is no Steve Jobs. There's no Apple. There's no Amazon Music. There's no Tidal. There's no Spotify. It's directly from you to your fans. And those people, you could actually see who owns it now. These 1,000 people are now my community that I can say, hey, if you got my NFT, when I do my next shows or these shows, these 54 shows, you get to come to one of these shows. Just come to the joint and show the NFT. I'll check it. I'll check the the wallet address to make sure it's authentic, and you get to retain the majority of that $500 to $1,000. You know, you get to go do metaverse shows and now sell Chub Rock and Primo t-shirts for avatars, digital wearables for $100 or for $50 or for whatever you feel like you want to sell them for, and retain all of it. I know it's a newer concept. I know these are what's happening now, but this is why I feel like music artists, especially hip hop, because hip hop artists, we take technology to the max. It wouldn't be, I don't care. Instagram would not pop if it wasn't for urban culture.
That's a fact.
None of it would pop if it wasn't for what and how we are as people. It is what it is. We culturally use it differently. And the fact that you can drum up your own attention, but then be able to monetize your attention by creating digital products that are on the blockchain, which means that there's no central authority. This is decentralized capital that comes together. You know, a community comes together to buy your stuff. It puts you back in control. And I feel like there's just not enough education there yet, because you're right. Your artist should not, I mean, artist, nobody should tell an artist what their art is worth, number one. Number two, all of the stealing that had taken place, royalty statements, publishing, all these things, we're smarter now. We're not going back to that.
We're not going back to that, but for our generation, they're not totally there yet when it comes to the NFT thing. Younger generation, they're there. Well, they're there more. Our generation, not as much yet. That's going to take a little time. It's going to take a little time. Positive about it, but they're going to take a little time. We got to fix the culture. First of all, they need food to digest, which is music. Just to get out of that kind of old way thinking. I remember growing up, or even in the 90s, man, every Tuesday, new music comes out. People in their lunch break are at Tower Records or HMV, and they're buying music every week. It was a ritual. Though, that time is over, obviously, because the brick and mortar stores are gone. And it takes people some time to get to the point of trust and using credit cards to buy music and knowing the technology and this and that and boom, boom. So it just takes a little time, man. And urban music got hit the hardest with that. And that's why it was so incredible, because like, I come up from a certain era, but the producers of this record, the good people, they're a little younger. They're a lover of real hip hop, but they're younger people. They're younger guys. Saint and those guys are younger, so they knew how to maneuver it, man. And that's how I'm on this with you guys. That's how the song even got into the movie. Big shout to Jeff Burton and them guys. I mean, that connection, because they're younger, but they're fans of the era that I came from. And I mean, they did this very quickly to get it into the movie. I mean, a lot of hip hop records don't get into movies right now, especially hip hop records from somebody from my time to get into movies, man. And, and I think that's because of the energy of younger producers and younger filmmakers. Big shout to them, Jeff Burton and them, that whole crew, as far as the filmmakers of that movie. And I think they're doing even more now, more movies. So I understand what you're saying, man, but we got to be able to work together, because that younger generation, and I'm not saying they got to be just millennials, but I'm saying that younger generation kind of understands how to navigate through that system. And I've seen it, because when we did this record, which I knew was a good record, I just didn't realize that they were going to be able to get it into the movie and this so quickly. And they really hustled and did a great job. And, so it was a blessing, man, and hopefully more to come, more to come. You know, so
Yeah.
it's incredible stuff, man.
And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you got it.
No, but last thing I just wanted to say, because you know, as we're talking, and you're right. Like, there's a learning curve there, without question. But vinyl sales have been shooting up crazy all over.
Without question. Without question. I love it.
Yeah, NFT vinyl does exist, where you have a piece of the art that is also connected to the vinyl, and to have the vinyl, you got to own the NFT. And I'm saying that, yes, it's a learning curve, but one thing that matters is when CHUBB ROCK actually stops and says, hey, this is how you buy my NFT. And we do a funny tutorial, but a tutorial. Hey, download this MetaMask app, you know, go to my site, thechubster.com. And
we're going to have to do that. We're going to have to do that, because you got to be able to explain it.
And that's the explainer videos that come from somebody like you is a whole nother way to onboard people and to get them to do it. I'm just telling you, I see the light and I see the problem, and I think I see the solution. And I'm with the independence, and putting the money back into the artist's hands. That's really all I'm saying there, because that's the way it should have been from the jump. You know, everybody's got bamboozled, bro, badly, to where, you know, yes, the culture still lives.
You know what it is, brother?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll end it with this. COVID taught people a lot of things, man. It taught these young people, they don't really need these $7 an hour jobs. And when they decided, nah, we're not going to work for McDonald's, we're not going to work for this person, nah, we're not doing that. Now you got McDonald's all of a sudden turning around and going from decades of $7 to, oh, we'll pay you 18, don't go anywhere. Why? Because they're going to have to close if they don't get these young people. If they don't get people to come and work for them, they got to close. Young people are still going to be the future, man. Because their energy changes policies, man. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones that's going to change it. They're the ones saying, nah, we're not going to work for you, man. I'm going to sell t-shirts. I'm going to do this. You know, I've always had a dream of doing this. I'm going to try this. I'll tighten my belt. I don't need to live in a 10,000 square feet house, man. I'll buy my little tiny home, or I'll get 3 roommates and we'll rent a 1-bedroom and cut it up because we cool. All we do is sleep there anyway. They will change the dynamics of stuff, man. When I was coming up, there was 10, 11 major labels. Now, really, there's only 2. They're buying each other just to stay alive. Young people, you're not going to feed your record label by Barbra Streisand records. You know, you're going to need Little Dirk records and Wayne records, you know, and I mean, so young people still have that power, you know, and that's where the unity needs to happen. We don't need any more old school versus new school nonsense, because now we're going back to the original argument, pitting the old against the young and all this other craziness. You know, that's not what we need. We need the unity of what we have for our culture. Hip hop is like the Marines. Don't make a difference if you joined the Marines during Vietnam, you joined it during Korea, you've joined it during Desert Storm, or you joined it during Afghanistan. You're a Marine, right? That's what hip hop is. If you're hip hop, it don't make a difference when you came in to that fraternity, you were there. And we need to do it together. And that's with everybody, DJs, beat makers, rappers, everybody, man. So I appreciate what you guys and ladies do on the DJ level. I appreciate you gave the record some consideration. It's a great record. I thought the producers and the rappers did a great job on it. That was a good question. Somebody just put it there. Who are the real music buyers today? Maybe that might be our next Zoom meeting one day. But I appreciate you guys, man, and ladies, and thanks for, you know, giving us an opportunity to put out some music, and you guys supporting the music, and hopefully we'll just keep giving you guys something worth playing.
Yo, man, dude, CL, man, I want to kick my fucking job right now, nigga. I ain't been able to get on this shit the whole time. Chubb, yo, man, big up to you, man. I've been trying to get on here. Look, couple things. Shout out to DJ Askew, that's right. Legendary acts. Start saying that. Legendary acts. I play. Quantum Leap Radio plays legendary acts. Shout out to Sadat X and Elder Sensei. They just did some with this cat DJ Moore. We play it. The good people, we've been playing it. I actually need this track here. I got it in a music package about a month ago, but it wasn't clean. If there's some way I can get the clean for it, I would love to do it. I just wanted to say big up to you, man, because Chubb, you have stayed consistent. Sadat has stayed consistent, like you said, Grand Puba, Diamond D. You all have stayed consistent putting out music throughout the years, no matter who might have been tuned in or not, man. And I just want to let you know, it's people out there playing it, like myself, on FM. Even though it might be community radio, it's still FM. We getting it out there to the people, and it's a lot of folks. And I do hope that you know, going back to what CL was saying earlier about, you know, the old Conway and all of that, I do hope that people start to recognize the folks that are actually putting the music out there, as opposed to these people that they're waiting on to put music out there, because we know everything shifts. And I always think things shift back to where they should be. And so I appreciate it, man. I don't know if you ran down yet how you hooked up with the good people, that them cats. I've been getting music from them as well for a couple of years now.
Great cats,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, Saint, and so I sometimes I just can't get the clean. So just let them cats know, like, it's people out here just playing them on the FM. Please get us the clean records.
Yeah. I'll tell Saint when I get off the Zoom. Definitely let him know. Jeff Burton, I let them all know. And I got another joint with Saint that's gonna be coming soon too. And then I got another joint I gotta send you guys that I did with DJ Success out of New York. And then probably a whole album with Henny Savant that we got. So we got a lot of music coming.
Yo, man, one real quick question. And I've always just kind of wanted to know this. And I know you're about to get up out of here again, man. My freaking job is, can't even get into how I want to get into it. But Crooklyn Dodgers too. Can you take me through how that came about? And the reason why I ask that is because the first Crooklyn Dodgers, you know, obviously dope ass track. But when the movie Clockers came out, like, what made them say, I'm going to go and get Chubb, I'm going to go get J-Rue, I'm going to get these guys and make a part 2 rather than it just being a whole new song? Like, what was the mindset? Was that Spike Lee that did that set that off, or was that someone else? Like, what was the mindset behind making that?
Well, that's Spike. That's Spike saying, okay, we got part 2 and we'll get another crew. And I think he felt at some point thought there would be a part 3 and a part 4 and with all new blood. And
well, there was a part 3 actually.
Right,
Spike might not know it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, he knows about the part 3.
Oh, okay.
And so, you know, he went to Primo first and just said, hey, I need you to do this. And that part gets cloudy to me because I don't know if it was him that picked us, 3 of us, or it was Primo. I gotta ask Primo that question. I don't even think I remember the answer to that question. All I know is I got a call from Cedar Bourne who said, yo, Primo's looking for you. And when I reached out to him, he was like, yo, come to D&D tomorrow. That's all I remember him saying. And I was living on 23rd Street at the time, Manhattan. And I got the D&D, and the way Primo works, there's no pre-made beats. He's cooking it up right there in front of you. And he's like, yo, Chubb, what do you think about this and this and boom and boom? And he's going in it, and he played the joint to me. I was like, yo. And then you just leave him alone after that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it happened, man. And OC walked in J. Rude walked in, and then it was done, you know. But clearly started with Spike, went to Primo, and then I don't know the answer to who picked the three of us, but I'm just glad he did. And and then of course the video was shot by Spike, and it was a great record, just like the first record was a great record. I always told him he should have just did an album, just did the whole Crooklyn album, and maybe he will. I mean, you know, he.
Oh, she froze up.
Oh, yeah, he froze for a second. So,
No, but man, I appreciate that though, man. I just always kind of wanted to know that. Like I said, it just kind of goes further to what I was saying. Throughout the years, you have stayed consistent dropping music, man. And I definitely appreciate that. Like I said, Quantum Leap Radio, we play the legendary act. So don't get it confused. It's still people out there playing them, man.
You guys.
Cool. All right, well, there it goes,
yeah,
man.
So I didn't hear you guys for a second.
Okay, you back? Okay.
Yeah, I'm back.
Listen, man, we got to let you go. I know Cass got questions. I got mad questions about Jamaica. My family's Jamaican. Shout out to Brooklyn too.
Like I said, we could do this we could do it again, man.
Yeah, we got to do it again.
We just talk about hip hop.
Hey, but
and
before
a
you
bunch
go,
of stuff that's
I want to
happening,
send my
man.
love.
Like I said, there's a bunch of cats that got music.
Well, this is a platform where we support that. I'm gonna tell you straight music. That's how we get down. So you let Slick Rick know, you know what I'm saying, and others know, like, hey, listen, man, y'all a little bit, you want to dip your toe in the water and throw a song out there. You know, we have a whole network of people that play music, and we talk about it, and we support each other. And anybody on here will tell you that, man. If it, like you said, if it's good, it's good. That's the thing. If it's good, it's good. Like you said, if it's not good, you can't be mad.
Greg Nice has a whole album about the rock out in a minute too. You know, Greg Nice has an album about to come out too. You know, song with him on his album. So there's a lot, man. I'm gonna definitely let them know that I did this today, and that they might want to, you know, get involved, man. So I appreciate all of you, and thanks for having me.
No doubt. Anthony, you wanted to say something? I know you.
Yeah, I just wanted to send my love, man, and just say I appreciate the legend CHUBB ROCK for everything that he's done and who he is in hip hop. I love the record today. You said the record is with the good people, Brooklyn Dodgers. Is there MC in it named Emski? Are you familiar with the MCs in that group? The Good People?
No, the Good People is a production group, but one of the guys does rap. His name is Saint, and but it's a production group though.
Okay. It sounded if somebody on it that sounded really familiar, and I was just about to just get excited, like, oh wow, it's on the record with the legend CHUBB ROCK. But nonetheless, the record is fire. I love it. Dope beats, dope rhymes. I always say you can't go wrong. And once again, man, just want to give you your roses and just tell you that I appreciate who you are and what you've done in hip hop.
Appreciate you. Thank you. I really appreciate this. You know,
Charles,
really.
Yeah, man. Salute to you, man. I appreciate you just stopping in, man.
I salute you guys.